in December last year, 24th. I tried to take my life. Hi guys, how are you? Habari zenu? Wanjiku Gashero here, also known as LG Chicks. I'm the village girl. Yeah, and today we're talking about mental health. And I'll specifically talk about bipolar too. So yeah, here is my journey. Wanjiku was born somewhere in Narok, raised in 3 or 4, 5 counties. So I think I've been traveling most of my childhood with my parents, with my family. Uh, and yeah, so here is my journey. I was clinically diagnosed 2 years ago with bipolar 2, and it's not been a walk in the park, but I love it. I love the journey I've accepted, and here we are. So where did I start? What happened? Yeah, what really happened? Wow, wow. Mine was a normal, like any other life, eh? Just moving on with life, working, having fun, and everything. My work entails photography and a lot of traveling. So most of the time I'm with the cameras, behind the cameras, and traveling. And I didn't notice something was wrong until my grandma passed on. That was around 2016, and that is when everything went down. So my grandma was my everything, was my confidant, was like my parent, was my, yeah, that person. Then she passed on due to diabetes and hypertension, and I never thought it was, you know, people pass on. So after the burial and everything, I came back to Nairobi, and as expected, I was supposed to move on with life. Unfortunately, I didn't. Why, you ask? When I came back, I had this cloud of grief and sadness that couldn't go away. I tried to travel to my favorite destinations. I tried hiking here and there, and nothing was working. My moods were so low, so low, so low. Um, for 1 week, I was in the house, and this is, we're used to this. Everyone has a bad day, you know. Everyone has a bad day. Now this one was beyond. This was not your normal bad day. This one was getting worse. I couldn't eat, I couldn't take shower, I couldn't do anything. I was so flat, like flat. I had no emotions, I had no nothing. I was numb. So for 1 week I was in the house. I didn't leave, I didn't eat, I didn't do anything. I didn't even go to the washrooms. It was that crazy. Then everyone was calling from left, right, and center, friends, families, everyone. And I thought, wow, this was overwhelming. So I switched off my phone for the first time, and I deactivated all my social media accounts. If you follow me, you know I love social media. Like I love being online, you know. So it was a bit of concern, and some few friends came by knocking. And when they got to my place, as usual, we all do, I bumped up to life. And I was, guys, I'm okay. I've just been feeling weird, but I'm up. And we went Dunda that night. We went out and partied the whole thing that they went. So they thought I was cool. And I picked myself up and got back to work. And it didn't go far. After maybe a month, it got worse. I remember we did a trip to Kampala. It was a 4 nights trip, and everything was super. But when I came back, that is where now we say things went south. So I'm here. I was all excited. No one offended me. The journey was smooth, though I didn't have good enough. I didn't have enough sleep. Insomnia was now creeping in. Ila kidogo kidogo, on and off, on and off, on and off. So when I came back, I couldn't sleep. I was fatigued. Like every bone and muscles in my body were aching. My eyes were puffy, and I couldn't get exactly what was happening. I thought of getting some painkillers, and nothing worked. The same feeling I had like a month ago came back. I was irritated, angry. I was feeling hopelessness. I was feeling helpless. I was, any, all those bad emotions were all over. And wow, I switched off my phone again. This time it went for 2 weeks. I didn't eat anything. I didn't get out of bed. I didn't take shower, obviously. I was crying like 24/7. And just the thought of speaking out, calling out someone and telling them, this is how I feel. The bubbly girl, the Shiko we know, ever smiling. I don't think anyone could have understood what was happening. So I thought, let me try and process this. Wow. 1 week down, everyone was now getting worried. Where is she? What's happening? But no one had a clue of whatever was happening. You know, I think I tried in 1 or 2 occasions, and the vibe I got was, you'll be okay. Keep strong, you know. Especially when I wanted to talk about my grandma, everyone was like, your grandma was old, yeah? Let her rest. And to me, it wasn't making sense. I really wanted to talk about it. I felt like I had a baggage I really needed to put down, and this was not forthcoming. So I was just feeling horrible and anxiety. At that time, I didn't know what that was. I was just feeling anxious over unknown things. Like I would feel very weird feelings. My heart would palpitations. I would get headache. You know that headache that kicks from behind here, and it doesn't go even if you take how many tons of painkillers. Yeah, so that is basically what I was feeling during that particular moment. 1 week went, the second week, I would hear once in a while someone knock, and I would feel like it is someone knocking from far. And that would really irritate me. Bad one. Like I would get irritated, and palpitations will come up, then anxiety. I would sweat from head to toe. I was dripping sweat. So my friends decided, no, we think this chick is in the house. And I used to live in a standalone house. I have my own gate, and I have you'd really not tell whether I'm inside or not. So they decided, we think she's in, and we are going to do something about it. They called the landlord and informed them. about wherever they were planning to do break-in. And on this specific day, one of them was heading to police station to report. Then they come break the door and the gates. And funny enough, because they had really knocked that door, I dragged myself out of the bed, called, and got to the gates, opened, and yeah, that is how I first got myself into a mental institution. Obviously, we went to a physician first, then I was referred to a psychiatrist, and yeah, it was that bad. The first time I got myself into a mental health facility, so I had like zero knowledge about whatever was happening. I was having hallucinations by that time. I was feeling weird because now I had moved from depressed mode to a maniac phase, which was not full blown, but I was active. I was like just active. My brains were all over. Um, I was thinking about everything and anything. So I was admitted at Bustani, which is under Chiromo Lane, for 8 days. Yes, they stabilized me. So let me tell you guys what happened before I was taken to a Bustani. The doctor wrote the admission letter around 6 in the evening, and by this time I was feeling my moods were getting up. I was feeling hyper a little, so uh, it was a sin because I was feeling like partying, and my friends, two of them could take none of that, but they had no option. Like they had to do whatever I wanted them to do. So what did we do? We club hopped like 5 or 6 clubs during that night. So we'd go to this club, take one beer, then I'll be like, no, I don't think the music is right. Then we go into the next one, the next one, the next one, until the morning came. Mind you, I was on med. The doctor had given me some med for that night so that we can at least get the funds to get me admitted. Yeah. So when the morning came around 5 a.m., I agreed to go back to the house, and we went. So they were packing, and I was halfway asleep. So I would hear them like in that happy mood. Oh, thank God the morning is here. But I didn't have the energy, so they packed up, and I didn't have a problem going to the hospital. But before we left the house, I was like, you guys, when I go to that hospital, they say there is no alcohol, there is no so many things. So guys, you better get me a drink. And they thought I was joking. But they had nothing to lose since they were taking me to the hospital. So I got my few cans, and yeah, after that I went and got admitted. But I have to note, I got in that hospital as high as a kite. I was so high. So first they had to do a detox, which they did. Then medication started, and on my 8th day of being admitted, that is when the doctor told me, first I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety, but after doing therapies for 2 months, that is when the doctor settled for bipolar 2. Bipolar 2 is one of the mental illnesses, and it is a milder version of bipolar 1. Not to say it's good, no, it's just mild, because I don't for bipolar 2 you don't get to feel the maniac, full-blown maniac phase. We get the hypomania, which is a little bit of mania. So mostly you might not notice it when I'm in that mode. And it's the other side of it is depression. So for me, I was taken to hospital when I was depressed, and this is what really happens most of the time. When you're hyper and active, people will likely ignore that. But when you're depressed, we're all going to notice. And they say a big percentage of people who are diagnosed with mental illnesses are taken to hospital when they are depressed. So guys, keep an eye. It wasn't. Did I? How did I take the news? How did I take the news? Um, Really, I didn't struggle because I felt like I now had a name to whatever was happening in my life, the ups and downs and the crazy feelings, which to the people I tried to talk to about, they were like, "Chicks, you're just having a bad day. It will pass." So for me, I felt, yeah, I think it's okay. I'm ready. I'm ready to walk through this journey. Wow, life after diagnosis. Um, I had so many questions, yes, but what I did, I accepted the diagnosis and tried to work towards my healing. Yes, I'm that open. So, number one, I had to come to terms with taking meds daily, whereby I don't fancy taking meds, but now I'll have to be taking meds daily and doing therapies once in a while. By that time, I used to do twice a week. Went for about 6 months. Then by that time, I could now understand what was happening. So, what did I learn through the therapy sessions? I came to understand myself better. The things I used to ignore about me, I learned I was having anger issues. I was getting irritable by small things. I was feeling helpless and hopeless, and I was feeling alone. I was feeling lonely even if I was in a crowd. Um, I realized there are moments I used to call me moment. I'm a recharging moment, um, because when we go out, maybe on a 2 or 3 nights travel, at some point I would feel the burnout. I would feel fatigued. I would feel I'm done with everything. Then I will just retrieve, go do some maybe sleep. And during those my me time, I used to feel very horrible, tired. I would feel like I've not given my all. And yeah, me being me, I would bounce back and do life. So no one really got bothered about it. Wow, wow, wow. Now here I am. I have to be walking with my meds in my bag. And I decided to come out and talk about it, which was a whole experience on its own, because shakes and depression in one sentence was not making sense. But well, this is life, and these are things we're supposed to be talking about, because I feel, meh, we need to. Uh, how has been the journey so far? It's now 2 years. The journey has not been easy. Why? The meds are super expensive. and the therapies are expensive. The psychiatrist sessions are not cheap neither. So roughly a month I use around 10 G's, and I have to, because I have to stabilize my moods. I don't want to be on the lower side, and I don't want to be on the upper side, because the whole thing affects my livelihood. Like, I can't work, I can't do nothing, and I need to. I'm a mother, you know. Being on medication doesn't mean you're now 100% okay. No, it doesn't. You need a very good support system. You need to go for your therapy sessions. You need to go for your psychiatrist sessions too. And be very keen on the surroundings, your body happenings, know your triggers, and all that. The first year was a success, yes. The second year, which is last year, I got myself going back to the facility again, because I got way much depressed, and this time was a major clinical depression. I stayed in the facility for another 1 week, and then, yeah, bounced back. I would say I have a strong support system from family and friends. Yeah, so they help me monitor how this goes. And yeah, let me talk about the things I used to ignore before I was diagnosed. uh, what are the symptoms, what really happens. Yeah, so for me was insomnia, very bad insomnia. Then it would go maybe for a week or two. I remember there's a week I didn't sleep for almost 2 weeks. Then hyposomnia, whereby you sleep excessively, and the sleep comes during the morning hours and extends maybe during the better part of the day. Then irritability, anger, the feeling of hopelessness, helplessness, lonely, all those bad feelings. Even if you try to be positive, something is, you just messed up, you just lower. Those were my main symptoms, which I ignored for the longest time, until the death of my grandma, which was the major trigger. You see, this thing is, let me say, what causes depression. It's it's clinically, and also lifestyle causes, and chemical imbalances in your brain causes all this. Economic causes, like so many causes. So mine was loss. Loss that I never grieved. Like, I've had so many losses. Loss in terms of maybe job, a relationship, death, all that. Looking back, that is when I realized, with the help of my therapist, I came to know mine has been a journey of loss. And me being the firstborn, everyone expected me to be strong. So whenever something came up, I was the strong one. Even in my social life, my friends think I'm the strong one, but not anymore. Not anymore. Nowadays, I try to be vulnerable once in a while, and I face things the way they are. If I can't handle a situation, I say I can't handle this, and I'll even walk out. So yeah, mine was loss. What has this disorder taken from me? I'm working on my memory. Right now, I'm doing good. My memory was totally messed up. My concentration span, I've really tried, guys. I've really tried today. Yeah. My concentration span is way below. And I don't feel the need to be this or that. I just try to be me. Wow, what has been my lowest point during this journey? Sometime last year, I felt like I had mastered this art of living, and for some time, I have to confess, I dropped meds and I survived miraculously for like 4 months. You see those things like do yoga, uh, do meditation, do some workouts, go out travel. I did all this, and it works. It worked at some point, but triggers were for all corners, and there was no way I was going to handle it. So shit did hit the fan in December last year, 24th. And I tried to take my life. That is the lowest I've ever been. It was crazy. I remember I found myself in a hospital with few of my friends, and I felt very horrible because I think my systems and everything had shut. I really wanted to go, but don't you worry, I'm here. Luckily. So it is at this point I'll tell you guys the importance of having close people. Don't have big circle which will not notice your how do I say it, your change of behavior. You need to have close people who will know Shix is not this, Shix has not been, I think something is wrong. Because on this particular day, I, you know, the bad thing with depression and the mental illnesses is like we feel the need to cover up, because the ignorance that is out here, it's amazing. And it's so sickening. The ignorance is too much, and sometimes you feel like there is no safe space for you to talk about this. So we mask and try to move on with life. I remember on that day I had few calls. I talked to a few of my friends, and I would feel the suicidal thoughts. It was getting intense. It was crazy. I don't think it is wise to say how I try to take my life, but guys, I amaze myself too. So, and no one noticed, like no one really could tell that my voice was something or anything. I'm told at some point I dropped some status which were kind of worrying, and those were the alarms. They were like, no, I talked to her. No, I think she's not. So they all came to my house, and I was unconscious, and yeah, they took me to hospital, and luckily they saved my life. So guys, I would urge you, if you have your friends, make a point of checking up on them genuinely. Don't just say, hey, how are you? How are you doing? Mean it. Like if I called you today, I'll ask you, hi, how are you? Genuinely. I insist, like just tell me how you are. I may not be in a position to do 1, 2, 3, 4, but I will be able to do the smallest thing. Maybe I'll even advise, if not do something. So let's be intentional with the checking up, because right now everyone is saying check up on your friends, and everyone is calling you, hi, how are you doing? You don't really want to know my baggage, you just want to know how I'm doing. So I'll tell you I'm fine, and the next minute you will find someone took their life or maybe did something stupid. Let's be intentional, guys. Yeah. My concentration, guys, is way there. No, let me wrap it up with a personal message to you personally. If you feel like you're losing touch with life. Maybe you're losing interest with what you love doing. You feel the need to be alone most of the times. You feel sadness, that weird sadness, not the normal kuchoka thing and fatigue thing. And if you're feeling fatigue all the time, when you wake up in the morning, you're tired, you're having insomnia, you're having hyposomnia, maybe you're sleeping too much, your concentration is going, your memory is going, you know, and you just feeling weird, eh? You're getting into a newer being than you know yourself. Make a point of talking to someone, and maybe from there you can get to know whether something is wrong or it's just something cropping up, you know. I'm currently running a campaign under Unshading Mental Illness because I want you guys to know what happens, and if you're diagnosed, please, that is not a death sentence. Come out, speak about it. For me, it's a therapy. When I talk about it and I feel way, and the thing you get, you help someone, it also helps me. I feel better. It lifts my endorphins and I feel good through the day. So guys, follow the campaign Unshading Mental Illness, and yeah, let's keep talking.